How's it going, boys? So, today we're going to be talking about the only thing that matters when you're trying to profit sports betting, and that is long term, short term, however you want to say it. So, I'm on a big four, which I like to call the big four of sports betting: FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, and Caesars. These are the four most popular, most legit, and they're the best. They have the best promos, the fastest withdrawals, and the best odds. Like, just all around very very good sports books, and they all have their own like specialty, right? We have player props on DraftKings and FanDuel. That's amazing. Caesars just have insane limits, and they don't limit you whatsoever. And obviously, FanDuel and BetMGM have amazing promos. They have deposit bonuses. They have just random odds boosts and stuff like that. So does DraftKings. Caesars not so much, but their high limits make up for that. Now, there's a bunch of other popular sports books, as you can see here, and there's more. I'm not going to go through everything, but we're going to talk about the only thing that matters in sports betting. So, in sports betting, there is something that is called odds, right? So, when you're clicking into a game, you can bet on the Raptors to win or the Jazz to win. It doesn't matter which team you win, there's always odds, right? So, this is American odds, and it's plus 100. It's basically just 2.0 in decimal form, right? So the odds of Toronto Raptors to win is about 50%, but it's actually lower than 50% because the sportsbook need a juice, which is why the Toronto Raptors are the underdog in this situation. They're a slight underdog. But there's no such thing as locks or 100% guarantee in sportsbook. People like to think there is. So if they see something crazy like this, minus 7,000, they think they're going to win 100%. But that is just not going to happen. It's just that, like, there's a very, very good chance that they will win, but it's not 100%. So if we go to this calculator here and we go something like, decimal odds 100, is basically saying that, oh, wait, oops. American odds is 100. Is probability is 50%. This is like how likely it's gonna happen. Let's say plus 1,700. Let's just do the minus 7,000 and the plus 1,500. So this is saying they have a 5% chance, around a 6% chance of winning. This is like the no vig, so they have a 5% chance to win. It is pretty valid. This is the fourth quarter, and it's about to end, and they're down like 20 points. Okay, so does this mean it's a lock? No, and it's a very bad bet because if I were to bet $7,000, I would only win 100. Would you risk $7,000 to win 100? The answer is no. It's a bad bet, and if you win a risk 100 to 1,500, seems pretty good on paper, but it's only 5%. So basically, in sports betting, all it is just odds and what the likely outcome is to happen. And the only difference about sports betting compared to like blackjack or roulette, any other gambling games like poker, is that the odds are given to you, and the sportsbooks make their money based on the odds. So basically, like, this is like, so the Raptors to win is slightly less than 50% to happen. So there's an odds calculator here that calculates the odds for you, and we can see what's the implied odds of it happening. So the Raptors to win is about 48%. So the vig is like 2%, something like that. So the Raptors is not 50% to win. They're actually slightly less, around 48%. And this is calculated based on the sportsbook's own algorithm. Now, you don't really have to understand too much about how they calculate this because it's just too complicated for you to understand. It's not necessary. I'll explain why. Pretty much, there's an implied odd and there's an odd with no vig. So this is how much they should pay you. Every $100 they should pay you 108, but they're paying you less. So this is a bad bet. There's juice in the lines. Now, as a sports bettor, all you have to really do is to bet on a line where the chance of this happening is greater than 48%. That's it. And you will just win long term. You will just win in the long term, because all it is you have to beat this, right? If the chance of this team winning is 48%, the Raptors to win, as long as you're betting them at odds greater than that, you will win once you repeat the bet over and over again, right? Just like a coin flip. If it's like heads or tails 50-50, but you get paid, like, instead of getting paid $1 for every dollar you bet, you get paid $1.50, for example. You will just win, because every time you lose $1. Every time you win $1.50. Anyone with a brain can understand that, right? So the only difference is that this is sports and the events are kind of weird and random. So how would you actually know if something like this is profitable? Well, you can like calculate this yourself by watching the games live, right? There's esports games I like to watch, like CSGO, Dota, stuff like that, and I try to, like, use my own knowledge to outsmart the books like that. And there's games, and something like esports, which I do want to make a video about, is that they have hero picks, which is very interesting, because even if an underdog, if they somehow have a better draft, or sometime in the game where a draft is more favored than the early game, they will have like a really bad start, but then they would, like, the team can't end the game, so they will eventually come back. Something like that is not always factored in the sports books, because they use the historical data, also some news as well, but they're not 100% accurate, so they could make mistakes. Now that is very vague, right? Like, if you're doing what I said, you have to be really good at what you do, and 99% of people just aren't. And because people are emotional and you kind of don't have any stats to back up what you're saying, it's more of like a feeling. So it's more like gambling than anything else, and that is not good. You don't want to do that. You want to basically rely on something that's reliable in the long term and you can repeat, which is why you have to use software. So one of the software I'm going to recommend is OddsJam. This is the best software in all of the sports market. They constantly update it. They have fantasy sports betting, everything in between. And shout out to the owner, Alex. This guy is literally a Stanford math and statistics major graduate. He knows his shit, basically. And with the software, this is what allows you to basically, ditch all of your misconceptions and all of your guessing game, gambling, and just look at the stats. So you guys might be like, how does this work exactly? Very simply, if you open this up, it shows you a bunch of odds compared to all the sports books. So I'm currently in Ontario, so my sports books are only limited for here, but we have a good amount. So every sports book have different odds, and this is what makes it profitable in sports betting. If every sports book had -135 and +102 for the under for Scottie Barnes' rebounds, then there's no profit to be made, because that is the exact odds, and most likely they are accurate, right? And because they charge a vig, you will never make money in the long term, because no matter what, you get paid less for the odd chance that it will happen. You just can't make money. Now, the thing about these odds is that, people say it's like trading. It's kind of like investing. That's why people say investing in sports betting is kind of investing in the stock market. You want to buy low and sell high. You want to buy stocks at a good price, right? So same thing when you line shop in sports betting. So right now I'm just looking at the lines, and this has a 5.3% expected value. Now this just means that the chance of this happening for the odds compared to the event is much, much greater. It's about a 5%, and they're telling me to bet $130 on it with the Kelly criterion. Now this you don't have to worry about. I'll explain a separate video. But for this one, Scottie Barnes scoring under 7.5 rebounds is 1 plus 100. So they're implying is a 50% chance of happening. Now, one of the sharpest books is Pinnacle, and they're saying Scottie Barnes has a -135 and +102 for the over. and the under. So the under is favored to happen, right? It's very likely to happen. However, Pinnacle might not be the sharpest for player props. They're kind of sharp on money lines and other such, but player props not so much. The sharper ones are like FanDuel and DraftKings, and they have it at minus 120, right? Every other sportsbook have it at minus 130, 125, 120, something like that. But Caesars has it at plus 100. Now, this is an obvious outlier, right? Everyone can see like, hey, why is it plus 100? This is not right. Like, they're giving us too much value for that. And they are. They are giving us too much value for that. So this is a good bet, right? If I make if this event of Scottie Barnes, Raptors versus Jazz, and this event was to happen in a simulation a million times, I would be able to like if I just flat bet 100 every time, and this was in the simulation a million times, I would win around 5.13% of my profit. This might not be exactly accurate because this is based on, you know, what's all the historical data, events, news, stuff like that. But I can guarantee you that these sports books need to set their lines every day. They hire software engineers, they hire all these like math and statistics people to put these odds for every single game, right? They have algorithms. They've been doing this for years. They make billions of dollars. I can almost guarantee you assured that whatever you think you're doing in your bedroom is not going to be as effective as these guys. And the simplest way to see how likely an event is to happen is by looking at the odds they give you, right? So Caesars is obviously wrong about that. And this is a good bet. So you would go here, add the bet, boom, boom, boom. And this is like the calculator stuff, but basically you can see that this is a good bet. And matter of fact, this is such a good bet that on Bet Online they're saying plus 105 for the over, and on Pinnacle it's saying plus 110 for the over. So this is straight up a arbitrage. So this is something else. It's called an arbitrage, and I'm pretty sure